LET Review New Curriculum, Science Major, Part 1.2, 50 Actual LET Questions. This is JM Pedagogical Blog Review. Disclaimer, no copyright infringement intended for educational purposes only. Direction, you may get a piece of paper and a pen to answer. A 10 to 20 seconds timer is allotted for each question. Make sure to answer all the questions honestly, and do not hesitate to finish this video, for you are the next licensed professional teacher. Okay, let's get started. According to the scientific definition of work, work is only done when a force causes an object to move in the direction of the force. If you push a table but it doesn't move, no work is accomplished because there is no displacement. Vacuum tubes, also referred to as electron tubes or thermionic valves, were integral components. They were responsible for generating and amplifying high-power radio waves sent to the antenna. These tubes significantly contributed to the evolution of radio and television broadcasting by enabling the modulation and enhancement of radio signals. Providing absorbent colloidal materials to screen acid rain is not a practical solution because it does not address the source of acid rain like sulfur oxide emissions. It would also be extremely difficult to implement on a large scale and would not effectively stop acid rain from forming in the first place. The filtration technology developed by NASA is most relevant for areas where water is contaminated, as it is designed to remove harmful contaminants and microorganisms, making the water safe for consumption. This makes it particularly useful for areas with contaminated drinking water, regions with poor water quality, or emergency situations where clean water is scarce. See. The disappearance of the world's rainforests poses the greatest threat to the survival of numerous plant and animal species. Rainforests are incredibly biodiverse ecosystems that host a significant portion of the planet's species. The destruction of these habitats leads to loss of biodiversity and extinction of many species that rely on these environments for survival. The greenhouse effect is primarily caused by gases that absorb infrared radiation, not visible light, particularly the longer wavelength radiation that is re-emitted from Earth's surface. Greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, CO, methane, and water vapor absorb and trap infrared radiation, leading to warming of the Earth's surface. The cell wall of plants is primarily made of cellulose, a complex carbohydrate polysaccharide. Cellulose provides structural support and rigidity to the plant cell, helping it maintain its shape and resist external pressures. Testosterone is the hormone responsible for stimulating the development of male secondary sex characteristics, such as increased muscle and bone mass, growth of body hair, and the deepening of the voice. When you move from a dark room to a well-lit room, your pupils take a moment to constrict, reduce in size in response to the increased light intensity. During this brief adjustment period, your vision may be temporarily unclear as your eyes adapt to the new lighting conditions. The pituitary gland is often referred to as the master gland because it secretes hormones that regulate the activity of other endocrine glands, such as the thyroid, adrenal glands, and gonads, ovaries, and testes. It is located at the base of the brain and is controlled by the hypothalamus. Ichthyology is the branch of zoology that focuses on the study of fish, including their biology, behavior, ecology, and classification. The main function of the peripheral nervous system is to connect the central nervous system, which includes the brain and spinal cord, to the rest of the body, including all organs, muscles, and sensory receptors. This allows for the transmission of information between the body and the brain. Xylem is the vascular tissue in plants responsible for transporting water and minerals from the roots to the rest of the plant, including the stem and leaves. Xylem vessels are specialized for this upward movement of water through a process driven by transpiration. In sexual reproduction, fertilization occurs when the nucleus of a sperm cell fuses with the nucleus of an egg cell. This fusion creates a new cell called a zygote, which then begins to develop into an embryo. Ionic bonds occur between positively charged ions, cations, and negatively charged ions, anions, which are formed when an atom transfers electrons to another atom. In a solid state, the ions in an ionic compound are held in a rigid ladder structure and are not free to move, so the compound does not conduct electricity. A higher boiling point indicates that more energy is required to break the intermolecular forces holding the molecules together in the liquid state. Therefore, if substance A has a higher boiling point than substance B, it means that substance A has stronger intermolecular forces compared to substance B. A radioisotope is considered a tracer when it is used to track and study the absorption, distribution, and movement of substances within biological systems, such as how plants absorb fertilizers. Tracers are valuable tools in scientific research because they allow for precise tracking of chemical processes. In a series circuit, the current that flows through each resistor is the same as the total current throughout the circuit. Additionally, the sum of all the individual voltage drops equals the applied voltage. This process is also known as magnetic induction. When the iron nail is placed in the magnetic field, it temporarily aligns its domains with the field, turning it into a magnet. The ionosphere is a deep layer of electrically charged molecules and atoms in the Earth's atmosphere that reflects radio waves. It is located above the troposphere and stratosphere, and it plays a crucial role in radio communication by allowing long-distance radio signals to bounce off and travel around the Earth. Biological controls involve using natural predators, parasites, or pathogens to manage pests and reduce the need for chemical pesticides. This method is environmentally friendly and sustainable, helping to ensure a suitable environment for future generations. Boyle's law states that the pressure and volume of a gas are inversely proportional at a constant temperature. As a scuba diver ascends to the surface, the pressure decreases, causing the volume of air in the diver's lungs and other air spaces to increase. To avoid injury, divers make safety stops to allow their bodies to adjust to the pressure change gradually. Homeostasis is the term used to describe the ability of an organism to maintain a stable internal environment despite external changes. This involves various physiological processes that regulate factors such as temperature, pH, and electrolyte balance to keep the body functioning properly. Molting is the process in birds where they shed and regrow their feathers at least once a year. This process helps birds maintain the health and functionality of their feathers, which are crucial for flight, insulation, and display. The vacuole is the organelle in plant cells that produces turgor pressure against the cell wall and acts as a water reservoir. This pressure is essential for maintaining the cell's shape and rigidity, and it helps support the plant structure. Each pyruvic acid molecule, which contains 3 carbon atoms, is converted into acetyl-CoA before entering the Krebs cycle. During this conversion, 1 carbon atom is released as carbon dioxide, leaving 2 carbon atoms to enter the Krebs cycle. Meiosis is a specialized form of cell division that reduces the chromosome number by half, resulting in 4 haploid cells, each with half the number of chromosomes from one diploid cell. This is essential for sexual reproduction, as it ensures that when gametes, sperm and egg fuse, the resulting offspring have the correct number of chromosomes. A creative person is someone who comes up with original ideas, methods, and approaches to solving problems or completing tasks. They think outside the box and develop unique procedures, rather than following established patterns or imitating others. This originality is key to fostering innovation and creative thinking. The primary functions of roots are to anchor the plant firmly in the soil and to absorb water and essential nutrients from the soil. These functions are crucial for the plant's stability and nutrition. While Plasmodium refers to the genus of the parasites that cause malaria, the specific species that can cause malaria include Plasmodium falciparum, most deadly, Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium ovale, Plasmodium malariae. All these species can be transmitted by the bite of the female Anopheles mosquito and are responsible for causing malaria. During a chemical reaction, the atomic number of an element remains the same. The atomic number represents the number of protons in the nucleus of an atom, and this number does not change during chemical reactions. Chemical reactions involve the rearrangement of electrons, but the nuclei of the atoms and their atomic numbers remain unaffected. Adsorption is the process by which molecules or particles adhere to a surface. Activated charcoal is commonly used to remove odors because it has a large surface area that adsorbs odor-causing molecules from the air inside the refrigerator. A scientific law is a statement that summarizes a natural phenomenon that consistently occurs under the same conditions. It is often expressed in mathematical terms, but can also be described in words. A law describes what happens under certain conditions, but does not explain why it happens. That is the role of a theory. According to Coulomb's law, the force between two charged objects is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Therefore, if the distance is doubled, the force is reduced to 1/4 of its original value. For electromagnetic waves, the relationship between frequency and wavelength is given by the equation, where c is the speed of light in a vacuum, which is a constant. This means that as the frequency of the wave increases, the wavelength must decrease to keep the product equal to the constant speed of light. Reflection is the phenomenon where the incident light falling on a surface bounces back into the same medium. This occurs according to the laws of reflection. Point 1. The angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. Point 2. The incident ray, reflected ray, and the normal to the surface lie in the same. The Hubble constant is a measure of the rate at which the universe is expanding. By studying the relationship between the distance of galaxies and their recessional velocity, how fast they are moving away from us, scientists can estimate the age of the universe. The Hubble constant allows astronomers to calculate how long the universe has been expanding, leading to the estimate that the universe is between 10 and 20 billion years old. This statement is false because sustainability encompasses not only environmental protection but also economic viability and social equity. Sustainable development aims to create a balance between these three pillars to ensure that future generations can meet their needs as well. This is an example of mechanical weathering, specifically a process known as frost wedging. When water enters cracks in rocks and freezes, it expands, exerting pressure on the rock and causing it to break apart over time. Carbohydrate digestion breaks down complex carbohydrates, such as starches, into simpler sugars like glucose. Glucose is then absorbed into the bloodstream and used by the body for energy. The production of gametes, sperm and eggs, occurs through a different type of cell division called meiosis, not mitosis. Mitosis is involved in the development of embryos, growth, and the repair of damaged tissues. Villi are small, finger-like projections found on the inner lining of the small intestine. They serve to increase the surface area for absorption of nutrients. Each villus is covered with even smaller structures called microvilli, further enhancing absorption efficiency. This theory, proposed by Jean-Baptiste Lamarck, suggests that organisms can develop or lose traits based on how frequently they use or do not use certain body parts. For example, snakes may have lost their legs because they stopped using them over generations. And giraffes' long necks were thought to have developed because they stretched their necks to reach higher leaves. Dioecious plants are those in which staminate, male, flowers and pistillate, female, flowers are found on separate plants. This means that one plant will have only male flowers and another will have only female flowers. The islets of Langerhans are clusters of cells in the pancreas that secrete hormones, including insulin. Insulin is the hormone that enables sugar, glucose, to be stored in the liver and helps regulate blood sugar levels. An organism's niche refers to its specific role or function in an ecosystem, including its position in the food pyramid. This encompasses how it obtains energy, interacts with other organisms, and contributes to the flow of matter and energy in its environment. The outermost layer of our skin, known as the stratum corneum, consists of dead cells. These cells do not provide the necessary living conditions for viruses to thrive and multiply. Viruses typically need living cells to hijack their machinery for replication, which is not possible with dead cells. Dry ice is the solid form of carbon dioxide, which is a compound. A compound is a substance made up of two or more elements chemically bonded together in fixed proportions. The other options are not compounds. Gold is an element, cemented wall is a mixture of various substances, and tincture of iodine is a mixture of iodine and alcohol. The kinetic molecular theory makes several key assumptions about gases, which include: gas particles have no attraction for one another, b. gases consist of submicroscopic particles, c. and gas particles move rapidly, d. How many correct answers did you get from this review? You may share it on the comment box. I hope you got a passing score of 38 or above. Good luck LPT cutie, claim it. I would like to congratulate our March 2024 LET passers. Congratulations teachers, your sleepless nights and dedication were paid off. The next video will appear on screen, click it to watch, or you may choose the playlist for more related videos.